We're told by neighbors that that storm rolled through pretty quick, only in a matter of minutes. But just right here, you can see this tree is completely uprooted. It was sort of an eerie scene here earlier today, really for hours. Police had part of this parking lot taped off where they say the shooting happened. Heather and Linda, this is the second shooting that has happened in this area in just the past week. Police say they've heard conflicting information as to what happened here today. That was pretty bad, but here at Oakdale and Lafayette, some of the worst damage we've seen. Power lines down. Go take a look. Apartments from around 21 country battled to get that fire out.
Look up there too, you can see some stars.
Yes, yes.
Oh my goodness. How cool is that?
It is amazing.
Wow.
The scene is much calmer now than it was even just 30 minutes ago. When I first arrived, we had police with weapons drawn, and you can see behind me, just in a matter of hours, what that fire did. Now, what led up to that incident, officers tell me, was that the woman inside the home behind me came out and was arguing with a tree trimming service. You can see their truck parked right in front of the house. The old location was just down Reed Road across from Snyder High School. Now, the station has a new home on the southeast corner of State Boulevard and Reed Road.
This dashcam video shows the moment Adams County deputies arrived to the scene of a water rescue. If you look closely in the video, you can see the taillights of the sinking truck. The sheriff says the man inside the car was Adams County Councilman Fred Velez. He says Velez was leaving from a nearby driveway, drove through a field and into the pond.
We could see the individual through the window. You could see his hands moving, and you could just tell there was a person in there struggling to get out.
With lightning surrounding the area and rain pouring down, deputies began their efforts to rescue Velez.
When you get out there, it's kind of like you're thinking about yourself, but you're thinking about the others more, like basically the guy in the car more than yourself.
Deputy Daniel Gerard and Corporal Seth Prince got in the water and swiftly got to work, using flashlights to try to break open the window.
You could hear the truck going down and the water taking it, and he was yelling for me to get away from it because I believe he thought it was going to maybe suck me under, but I could tell there was still somebody in there. So I continued to try to break that window.
Eventually, they were able to break the window and pull Velez to safety. Not long after, the car completely submerged in the pond.
It was that or something far worse would have come from it, I'm sure, if we wouldn't have been out there and got out there when we did.
The deputies understood each second meant the difference between life and death, but they add, it's what they signed up for.
It's just part of the job, sacrifice, I guess, that we make to try to ensure that somebody else makes it out or is in better condition than when we found them.
There used to be a gate here.
Jenny Halverson says her world was quickly flipped upside down. Tuesday's storm left behind a Wednesday mess and took with it Halverson's roof.
I was shocked because I didn't think it was that bad.
Halverson was inside when the storm came with her husband and kids.
Within a minute, everything happened. It felt like the air got sucked out of the house.
Halverson and her family were not hurt, but she tells me her son was almost sucked out of the house by the wind.
He was literally off the ground, like laying flat, being pulled out.
And just behind me, across the street on State Road 13, you can see crews are still cleaning up the limbs that were left behind on the road overnight.
Halverson's home also serves as a local daycare. Kids' toys can be seen spread out across the backyard.
Our chimney is part of it's laying on the roof and the rest of it's in the yard.
Despite the horrifying experience, Halverson says she's trying to keep her spirits high.
We're just in complete shock, and all I can do is laugh because if not, I'm going to lose it.
Inside the Reeds' home in New Haven, it's clear that family is important.
So our whole life's been here and raised our kids here, and family's still all around us, which is really great.
Paige was born and raised in New Haven, not too far from Mike's hometown of Decatur. The two never left the area, and they say it's something their kids even notice.
We'd go to the grocery store, and they were always like, you know everybody in this town, and I would say, yeah, I do. Like, remember that because it comes in handy.
Mike and Paige are very active, love spending time outside, and playing with their 5 grandkids. But in 2021, Mike began losing energy.
just started slowing down, a little more tired, come home from work, take a little nap on the couch, and that's just not me.
In November of that year, Mike learned he was in stage 4 kidney failure, a diagnosis that rocked them both.
I almost went through like a mourning period for the next month or so and thinking like this is the end.
Mike began dialysis immediately and was put on the wait list for a transplant. During that wait, his body deteriorated.
To mow the yard was a struggle.
A year after his diagnosis, they found a match. That match, the person he had been married to for nearly a decade.
It's still like unreal that it worked, and there hasn't been any kind of complications to speak of.
Dr. Islam Ghonim was Mike's transplant nephrologist at Ascension St. Vincent Hospital. He says most people wait about 4 years for a match, adding the chances of Paige being a near-perfect match was rare. But Mike's case, he says, was special.
Sometimes a match, even an organ match, may be something that's made in heaven. And in this case, it truly was.
In March 2023, the transplant was successful, and Mike went back to doing the things he loves. He and Paige say they feel incredibly blessed and add their story shows how life-saving organ donation can be.
Sometimes people just donate and they don't know. I think for me as the donor, it's been amazing because from day one I can see just the impact it's made on his life.
The union is prepared to add more workers to the walkout, but he did not call out any plans to strike. But first, I want to start with you and your thoughts when you heard the words Donald Trump guilty on all charges. We've also told you about this Valentine's Day event being held by the Black Pine Sanctuary, where people could donate and name a cricket after someone they find annoying. And since the pandemic, of course, FaceTime, Zoom, and other forms of video calling have become a huge part of our lives. In 21 country, a Huntington County mom is pushing for more accountability after the staff at her 4-year-old son's preschool lost track of him. It's kind of that awkward middle between folks that love the cold and snow and folks like me who like shorts and t-shirt weather. But
I know.
Still, for mid-February, we'll take it.